Hello, wrestling fans. Blake Smith from Walking the Ropes, and welcome to another episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Rampage from Washington, D.C. Before all that, make sure to check out the Walking the Ropes link tree for all things Walking the Ropes. And to start things off for Rampage, we had Jon Moxley versus Ethan Page. Moxley is making his return to the ring, and Page is looking to stop any chance of Moxley picking up where he left off, that being dominating any and all in his path. Mox, though, is in the best shape I have ever seen him in. He looks determined to make all the naysayers wrong. They start out strong, going back and forth, but Page ends up taking advantage as they spill to the outside, but it doesn't last long. As they come back in the ring, Moxley takes control as he breathes in the love from the crowd. It was a really good match to watch. They really put a lot into it, and there was a couple times where I honestly thought Ethan Page was going to win because of the fact that he just kept reversing stuff that Moxley was doing. But eventually, Moxley snaps and he just smashes Page with hard elbows, knees, and then just locks in the Bulldog choke for the win. Jon Moxley defeats Ethan Page in a pretty great match. For my Malteser scale, I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. It was a very good match. I really enjoyed what they've done there, and I'm looking forward to seeing exactly where Moxley's going to go from here. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 3.25 out of 5 because it did lack a little bit of story, but the great part was that it was Moxley's return match, so it had story there anyways. After the match, though, Moxley hits the paradigm shift and leaves, but as he walks to the back, Bryan Danielson is watching on. We finally be getting Moxley versus Danielson because that was the match we were advertised before Moxley left to deal with his issues. So yeah, that to me is a no-brainer match. It'll be a great match. We then get Jurassic Express responding to what the Gun Club did, and they say they're looking to stomp the heads in of Colton and Austin, and I don't blame them. They put their hands on their mentor or whatever you want to refer to Cage as for them, and yeah, it seems like we're in for a great match between the Gun Club and Jurassic Express. We then get a singles match between Nick Jackson and Trent Beretta. This was supposed to be a tag team match, but it seems Rocky Romero was unable to compete tonight for whatever reason. So we're getting a singles match with arguably the most athletic of the two Young Bucks, Nick Jackson. He never disappoints in a singles competition because he's competed against the likes of Ray Phoenix, Penta, Pac, I believe he's had a match against. He hasn't wrestled a lot of singles matches, but his singles matches are always top tier. He's just one of the most fluent wrestlers on the card, and it's great to watch him get a chance at singles competition. Nick starts out strong, but Trent quickly stunts his momentum and takes control. Nick is finally able to stop Trent as he ducks him and sends Trent flying into the ropes, where they go back and forth until Trent hits a package driver after catching Nick off guard and reversing a lot of issues from Matt kind of getting involved or distracting him or all of that. There was so much going on in this match that I couldn't really tell who was going to get the advantage. I really couldn't predict who was going to win this match either. I assumed going in it would be Nick via some cheating from the Elite, but after that package driver, he gets the win, catching Nick off guard. It was incredible. I couldn't tell you who was going to win in that match, but they put out a fantastic match. And I mean, Trent also has been off the cards for a long time, so him getting an awesome match like that is great. I really enjoyed it. Trent Beretta defeats Nick Jackson, and for my Malteser scale, I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was a very solid match, like I said. Not necessarily better than Moxley versus Page there, but what they did was awesome with the time they were given. For my Malteser scale, or for the WTR scale, sorry, I gave it a 3 out of 5 as well, because although we were supposed to get the tag match here, this is still Young Bucks versus Roppongi Vice, and eventually, knowing AEW, we're gonna get that match whenever Rocky Romero is able to come back and do this match. I didn't really see a post about why he wasn't able to compete, but he wasn't for whatever reason, and so yeah, we got this awesome singles match. After the match, the rivalry between Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez heats up as they get set for a brutal encounter. I'm looking forward to this because it's going to be Mercedes' first official match, and Thunder Rosa, in my opinion, is probably one of the two on the short list for who's going to beat Britt Baker for the Women's Championship whenever that is decided. I think it's going to either be her or Ty Conti, because they are the most over women, and I can't see Britt losing it to another heel. Just not the way I can see it going. So we shall see how this encounter with Mercedes Martinez goes. We get a singles match, Hook versus Serpentiko. Hook is arguably the most over wrestler in AEW. He's done not a lot, but the fans really seem to connect with him, which is really good. And he looks to continue his dominance as he jumps Serpentiko before the match even starts and starts tossing him around the ring, and eventually locks in a rear naked choke for the win. Hook defeats Serpentiko, and for my Malteser scale, I gave it a 2 out of 5. It was kind of just there. It was a quick match for Hook again. Not a bad thing. Eventually he's going to have to start having longer matches, and that'll happen soon. I just can't see it happening in his next match either. I think he's going to do another couple of these for sure. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 1.75 because, this was just kind of there. We didn't really get any build for it, unless there was build on Dark or Elevation. I hadn't seen them from this week yet. But that was still a okay match. And after the match, QT comes out to try and talk to Hook, but Hook doesn't really listen and just tosses him away as he leaves. It looks like the first kind of big match for Hook, where it's not necessarily going to just be a guaranteed match, is going to be QT Marshall. And I'm excited for that because QT is actually a very good worker in the ring. He's very solid. It would be a good person to do. QT also did Paul White's return, which was a great match. So, we already know he's good in that role. So, I think it's going to work well. Mark talks with the main event contenders before their match. Anna Jay says the street fight changed her, and now she chokes people out. And tonight, TBS stands for That Bitch Slayer. Jade gets pissed off, and they basically get ready to fight. She didn't really say anything of note. We then get the TBS Championship match. Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. Jade is defending her TBS Championship for the first time and looks to make a statement out of Anna Jay and tell all the other women just who she is. Anna wants to taste the gold for the first time, and she will have to use all her heart and soul into beating Jade if she hopes to walk out champion. Jade takes control by catching Anna in midair, but gets cocky as Anna almost rolls her up. Silver then is going to cause the distraction, helping Anna gain control, and it seems like that's going to have to happen again if Anna is going to walk out champion, because Jade is just too strong for her. Because she quickly turns it around and continues where she left off, beating down Anna. We get Silver and Mark fighting outside, and Anna almost takes advantage of the distraction because Cargill was trying to stop them. But Jade fights out of the Queen Slayer and eventually does hit Jaded for the win. It was a very good match. I'm not mad that she got her first defense because I feel like she's going to have at least 3 or 4 good title defenses like this, and then it'll be a real challenge next. But yeah, Jade Cargill defeats Anna Jay. For my Malteser scale, I gave it a 3.25 out of 5. It was a very good match. There was really nothing wrong with it. Um, I I just hope Jade starts to do bigger matches, like longer matches, and nothing against her, just me personally. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Very good match. Story wise, it was good. They built it up well over the last, I think, 3 or 4 episodes. So it was a good match. Um, the overall for the show, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Good show. Nothing really wrong with it. And builds on Beach Break, which is next week. We have a lot going on there as well. Segment of the night goes to Jurassic Express responding. I'm looking forward to that tag match because the Gun Club deserves a title match, and they are a good contrast to Jurassic Express. I think that'll be a very good match. Match of the night goes to Moxley versus Ethan Page. They did fantastic, and I couldn't really see why they see any other match in that position. Performer of the night goes to Jon Moxley making his return. It was a fantastic story, and he did amazing. No real mistakes or anything like that. I thought he did awesome. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.